What's going on, everybody? If you've been joining me on the live stream for the last couple of days, you've been here for the item I've been working on, which was a custom order for a local customer. Is my microphone working? Yes, it is. Okay, we've been working on a custom order for a customer over the last couple of days on the live streams, and we just finished it up today. Who we got in the house? Y'all sound off and let me know you're here. If there's any new folks here, my name's Josh. I have a channel, Modern Frontiersman, which is all about preparedness and self-reliance. Then I have this channel, Fortner's Frontier Leather, which is all my handcrafted leather work. So if you're new, head over, you subscribe here, head over, subscribe at Modern Frontiersman if you're into preparedness and living a self-reliant life. I can't speak this morning because I'm a tard. And you can go there at Modern Frontiersman, follow all the preparedness content, all the homesteading, all the wilderness survival, all the adventures that are going on here coming up this year. And here at Fortner's Frontier Leather is where I like to showcase my leather work, show people how to do leather work, educate people on what actual good quality leather is. And for the past couple of days, I've been going live and showing you all the process of this order that I've been working on. And I finished it up last night. I was going to do it live this morning, but really doing live streams while trying to work, it kind of just drags the work out. So I enjoy these lives, but I needed to get this done. So I went ahead and finished it up. Who we got in here right now? Sound off. Sound off like you got a pair. So this was for a Heritage Rough Rider. We got the holster finished up. And here it is out in the light where everybody can see it. This is a traditional double Mexican loop for the Heritage Rough Rider. It was like 6.5-inch barrel. For a long time, I was actually the only seller on Etsy that was making Rough Rider holsters. And for even longer, still to this day, I believe, I'm the only seller on Etsy who makes a shoulder holster for the Heritage Rough Rider. And Josh, howdy. But I think still to this day, I'm the only seller on Etsy that makes a shoulder holster for a Heritage Rough Rider. I don't know if it's still the case, but it was the case that if you search Rough Rider shoulder holster, my listing was the first one that would pop up. I've been making these things for a long time. People order Heritage Rough Rider holsters more than anything else. And I think it's because they don't want to get crappy ones from like from the factory. And these are definitely not crappy ones. I still have the first one I ever made, and I still use it for mine as well. A lot of people use the Heritage Rough Riders, especially trappers, because in a lot of states, including here in Alabama, you can't use anything bigger than a 22 to put an animal down in the trap. So I think the Rough Rider is an excellent tool for the modern day frontiersman. But here's the holster that we finished up. And it turned out really nice. I'm very happy with it. Very rugged, full grain leather, which I have a video coming up about the difference in what's the word? I just went blank. In genuine leather, which is genuine garbage, and full grain leather like we have here, and like we have in this belt. So not only did we do the holster for this guy, we also did the cartridge belt. As you can see, we have solid brass hardware here on the front. And we have cartridge loops that span the entire belt. This is 36 loops. It'll hold 36 rounds, which is 6 reloads. Not bad. A lot more than you would ever probably need. And on top of that, I've had some people that will order them extra sized, or not even sometimes. Like for me, this belt would fit me, but it also fit around my chest as a bandolier as well. You know, I can make these for any caliber, not just for the Heritage Rough Rider, not just for 22. So we have the cartridge belt and the holster to go with it. Now this guy will be set up to conquer the wild frontier. So you can get these over at modernfrontiersman.com. We have all kind of leather work over there, modernfrontiersman.com. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, how are you? But But yeah, we do all kind of custom leather work over there. This holster is actually listed on there. I don't know if I have a listing for the gun belts or not. I believe I do, but I need to get those. I need to get those listed, and I'll do that today. Actually, I will take a picture and use this as the product photo, because I don't think I have cartridge belts actually listed on the website. I usually just do them custom made when people ask for them. I have another one that's for the Ruger Super Blackhawk. It's listed, but I don't think I have any 22 ones or anything listed. People just, usually message me about the 45 one and be like, hey, can you make this in 22? Can you make this in 38 or whatever? And I just do it. So I'm going to get these listed on the website, make a really nice product photo of these, and you can head over, and if you need a holster, if you need a bag, if you need a purse, ladies, I do make purses too. I have another brand called Jazz Marie, which is a leather luxury brand where I make women's purses and things like that as well. So I can make just about anything. I don't really do boots or saddles, because that's just larger items that I'm not that I don't have any experience in, and that requires some more specialized training and practice on those. Those are their own crafts. Those don't really just fall into general leather work. Those are more specialized things. So I'm not experienced on those, but any other smaller leather items, even larger ones, I've done big like rifle scabbards and stuff like that. I can do that as well. But today I just wanted to show y'all this this gun belt and the holster that we just finished up. Since some of y'all have been joining me live for the process while I've been working on them, thought you might like to see it finished. And here it is. So once again, modernfrontiersman.com if you want to get you some custom handcrafted leather. Veteran owned, made in America, made from all North American cowhides. They come from anywhere in the United States, Canada, or Mexico. We only use North American ones. And I'm pretty happy with this finished product. Good morning, Grit and Grace. We finished. I don't know how long you've been in here, but we're done with the order. My fingers were raw last night after finishing this. So if you don't know if anybody doesn't know how this works, basically where each shell is, there's a slot behind it, and you literally just weave it and loop through every single one of these. And doing 36 of these, punching all those holes, cutting all those slots, and then weaving every little round through there, it's time consuming, and it make your hands hurt. Making these is labor intensive, and it's kind of painful on your fingers to make them. So when people said hi, I said hi back. Hi. But when people order leather work like this, especially custom leather work, and they don't understand, like, well, why does it cost so much? I've had people say, well, I could go to Walmart and get that for so-and-so. Well, one, you can't go to Walmart and get a leather cartridge belt. They don't have belts like this, for one. Two, they're not handcrafted, and they're not going to be as good quality, and they're likely going to be genuine leather, which is garbage, as you see here, and as I demonstrated yesterday, and I just recorded a short on, which I'm going to upload. But people don't understand that, when you're doing things by hand like this, it's very time consuming, and you get a better quality product. Handcrafted leather, even if it's stitched, like the way this stitching ripped out of this one, when I was just doing a demonstration, and I did one yesterday, the way it just ripped out, it won't rip out like that from with handcrafted leather, because that leather, that thread is really tightened down in there, because you can pull it tight with your hands. You can get the stitches tighter than a machine can by hand. And so when people, order stuff like this, and they don't understand why it costs what it costs, it's because they don't understand that this took all night I mean, this took hours to make just this belt. Okay, so just keep in mind when you're ordering anything handmade, the craftsman is putting a lot more work into it than a company does on a machine. You know, you're paying for that quality, and you're paying for that craftsman's time and expertise. And the time that they've, not even the time, just the time that they spent making the item, but you got to think about all the time they spent before, the years it took to get to where they could even make it in the time frame that they do. Because 10 years ago, making something like this would have literally probably taken me like an entire work day, right? Now I can have it done in a morning. I could finish this whole thing if I just worked nonstop. I could finish it by lunchtime, say, if I started early in the morning. But before, before I really mastered the skills, which still don't think I mastered the skills. You could, it would take me a long time. But over time, you get comfortable and you get competent in those skills, and that's part of what you're paying for when you pay for handcrafted stuff as well. Is that craftsman's education and them gaining that experience, and people will say, well, I can make that myself. Probably not, because not to the same standard, at least, because you haven't spent all that time making it. You could probably make a functional item. Yeah, I'm sure you could make this holster. You could make a holster for a Heritage Rough Rider, and it be functional, but chances are you don't have the time spent learning the craft to have as finished of a product as somebody who's been doing it for a long time. Grit and Grace, thank you. Tell you what, guys, Grit and Grace, she be on it. Like, she be in here like sharing links all willy-nilly. Like, she throws links out there. She's supportive to every channel. She does. It's the same way with Jay over at the Prepared Citizens, which I'll be with him tomorrow. We'll be doing some training, getting some content out, and we'll probably be talking about the Bear Creek rifles a lot. We'll both have our Bear Creek Grizzlies on us as well too, so we'll be doing some honest reviews on Bear Creek, and we'll be getting some training with XXL Dude. He's a really good guy too. He's coming down from northern Georgia, and we're all meeting in central Alabama, and we're gonna be getting some good content together. It's great because there's so many of us in the Southeast that are within less than 5 hours of each other, just a few hours of each other. Like, I think everybody that's coming around today or tomorrow is within less than 3.5, 4 hours from each other. So we can really get together and do those collaborations and stuff, which is really cool. It's really fun. But so y'all stay tuned over at Modern Frontiersman, because we'll have some sick training content coming out, doing some patrolling, doing some shooting and things like that. Not live. I made sure to put all the firearms way off to the side this morning, so I didn't get booted off the live on this channel. I think I still can't go live on Modern Frontiersman. I haven't checked, but YouTube be YouTubing. They got their crazy rules. See what I tell y'all, Grit and Grace be on it. She shared their Prepared Citizens. Y'all go subscribe to Prepared Citizens as well. He puts together some really good medical kits and medical gear. He sent some to me. I could run in and show you, but then you just have to be sitting here looking at a wall while I went in and got it. Have you tried Rumble at all? Yes, everybody says go to Rumble, and then they don't go to Rumble. So, like, I'm at almost like right at 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I don't even have 100 on Rumble. Everybody said, go to Rumble, go to Rumble, go to Rumble. And then, especially with Randall at Grunt Proof, me and Randall and Grunt Proof both went over to Rumble because everybody kept telling us to, and then they didn't come over and subscribe, and we just don't gain any subscribers and don't get any views on Rumble. So I like the idea of Rumble. I think it's cool, and I think it's a great idea. The problem is the audience isn't there, so it can be a waste of time. I think I have all my stuff backed up to Rumble, just in case YouTube does YouTube stuff and nukes the channel. But I don't spend any time on it. So I think I'd have to go look, but I think that all of my videos after a few months ago should all be on Rumble as well. It should be simultaneously uploading both. You watch on there? Good morning to you and Grace. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people say they do, and I know a lot of people that watch videos on Rumble. I haven't spent much time on there. It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of clunky on the creator side. And I think a lot of creators don't like Rumble because of it's not as user friendly as YouTube. I feel like, but the biggest problem is the lack of audience. Twin Arrow Survival. Good morning, brother. I was just on here showing everybody the work we've been doing over the past couple of days. The Heritage Rough Rider double Mexican loop holster. And we finished up this cartridge belt to go with it. So I'll be boxing this up here in a little bit and taking it to the person that sold it for me, because a lot of my local sales come from word of mouth. Somebody will know somebody, they'll make the sale for me, and I even give them commission. If somebody recommends somebody locally or anywhere, if you recommend somebody to come to modernfrontiersman.com and they purchase something, I'll give you a portion of that sale, because I think it's only right. You know, my sister made this sale for me. This was a $200 order, which, to be honest, I undercharged because it took me, oh, dang it, I dropped my cigarette. It took me more time. It took me more time than I expected to finish this. So, but I gave her 20 bucks out of it. That's 10%, like most affiliate deals work. So, you know, but that's not bad. 20 bucks just to recommend me. Yeah, not familiar with the app. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the app. They're so used to YouTube because it's been around for a while. Have you ever tinkered around with doing a steel core belt? I have not. I've thought about it. I've thought about doing that. I've just not done it before. And sometimes I think that's a bit overkill, honestly. Like the gun belts that I'm selling now, they're stiff enough. You know, like I don't 100% necessarily always subscribe to the idea that a gun belt just has to be like a freaking tank. For me personally, like, when you look at, like, say, I was about to pick up that dang Rough Rider again and get booted, but like a belt like this, a lot of times these Western gun belts are, when you look at historic examples of them, a lot of them are 8 to 9 ounce leather, which is actually thinner than this, and people were rocking them, and those guns were heavier than the guns with all the polymer stuff that we have now. And I don't think it's 100% necessary for a gun belt to just be freaking like steel. But that's just me. I mean, I carry my gun on just my regular belt that I wear every day. It's not a dedicated gun belt, but I know a lot of people do care about that a lot. So I make the stiffer ones, and they seem to do well. But yeah, I got that book in there, Packing Iron, and that's something I noticed in that book, that a lot of the leather from the 1800s that were, you know, stuff like this, historically accurate stuff, does not tend to be like super thick like our gun belts are today. And they were getting a lot more rugged use out of them, and a lot more rough use than than people are doing now. We're all coddled and comfy all the time. They were out actually out working their butts off and on horseback and everything else, and their gun belts weren't like they are today. The one thing I could never do is carry appendix. I tried it and just not for me. My 330. Yeah, I feel you. I'll carry appendix if I'm carrying a small pistol. Like I'll carry my uh uh goodness, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. I'll carry it appendix if I want more deep concealment, depending on where I'm going. But I'm like you. Most of the time, I'm like 330, like right behind my hip. And and sometimes I'll push it around a little bit if I think I might need it in a circumstance. Yeah, like if I'm going to a big city, like if I go down to Birmingham or if I go over to Atlanta, which I go to Atlanta fairly often, every couple months or so, I'll carry the M&P Shield appendix carry. Because some places, you go in and I don't want to print or anything there because a lot of places say no firearms and sorry, you're not disarming me. So I just, go for a bit more deep concealment and I'll carry it appendix so it's not printing on my side or there's no way like these security guards that are just sitting there watching movies on their phone will notice. Yeah, don't like a weapon pointed at my twig and berries. I feel you. And there's a lot of people, like to promote appendix carry. Say I do it for certain times. It's not fun having a pistol there when you're driving or sitting down. I know that. I actually, my favorite way to carry is cross draw, like angled a bit and cross draw. That's how I carry revolvers. If I'm out in the woods or I'm hunting or I'm trapping or whatever, I usually have a pistol cross draw because it's comfortable when you sit down. It's over here. You can still grab it when you're sitting down and draw. But when you have one appendix carry, man, you sit down, it digs into your groin and into your stomach and then into the bend of your leg right there. It's just not comfortable at all. And actually, that's another thing that I differ from most of the internet on is a safety on a pistol. I've seen the argument come up over the last couple of years or so that excuse me, that you're less safe. The pistol is less safe with a safety because then that's extra steps. I mean, I guess. I mean, I mean, you should be trained to pull that to just automatically flip that safety off. If you're like, well, that's an extra step, something else you have to think about. Well, I think you shouldn't have to think about flipping your safety on and off. You should be practicing and training enough to where that safety goes on and off at the right time when it's supposed to. When I'm out shooting or doing training or even in the Marine Corps and when I was in Iraq, like I never thought about taking the safety on and off. It's like when it's time to shoot, as that weapon comes up, if I'm pointing, my thumb's going down and the safety's going off. And when I'm done shooting, I automatically flip it back up and my finger rests back on the safety. I'm not thinking about it. It's just it's a natural reaction. Click, 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 click. I don't understand the argument really. And honestly, and I've heard it too. Like, well, if you're new to firearms, you're not you don't have that muscle memory. Well, if you're new to firearms, then you probably should be practicing a little bit more and getting that muscle memory if you plan on carrying it. Perhaps as somebody who's new to firearms and can't safely handle one yet, maybe you shouldn't carry one until they can. That's just my thoughts on that. And thing is, like, you know, somebody new, like, how many times have you guys, and I've seen it happen a ton of times with people that I'm shooting where they're trying to teach to shoot that have never shot a gun before. What's the first thing they do when they pick that gun up? Their finger's right on the trigger, right? They automatically got their finger on the trigger, and I'm having like, okay, stop. Take your finger off the trigger. Keep your finger off the straight and off the trigger. And usually they'll end up going back to putting their finger, and people just automatically put their finger in the trigger guard and rest it on the trigger when they've never shot a gun before, because they think that's what you're supposed to have your finger in there. So somebody who's brand new putting their finger in the trigger on the trigger and hasn't got that muscle memory yet, I don't want them having a pistol with no safety on it. They might accidentally shoot themselves or somebody else. So I don't really agree with the whole. I mean, not that I don't really agree. I do not agree with the thinking that new shooters are safer without a safety. I think that's absolutely counterproductive, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's just me. I don't know. What's up, Jay? Look at Jay up in here. Jay, check it out. Everybody who just came in here, we finished up the work we've been doing the last couple of days on the live stream. This is for a Heritage Rough Rider. I was telling everybody when we first got in here that for the longest time, I was the only person online selling Heritage Rough Rider holsters and full rigs, and I think I still may be one of the only people on Etsy selling Heritage Rough Rider shoulder holsters. But yeah, we finished that up. That's actually the reason I came live, was just to show everybody the finished product that they've been watching me work on. This will be going to the customer today. Now you need you do. I think everybody needs a Heritage Rough Rider. Like that's a gun that everybody should have. Like I think everybody should, you know, if you like guns, if you use guns as tools, I think everybody should definitely have a 22 of some sort. But I think when it comes to 22 pistols and stuff, it's a Rough Rider. Everybody should have an AR, of course. Everybody should have a 12 gauge or a 20 or some sort of shotgun. And I think everybody would have a 1911. You know, just some of these sort of iconic staple guns, and I think the Rough Rider kind of falls into that category. It's just they're dirt cheap and they work. They're good guns. They're especially great for trapping, like I was saying earlier. And I love them. People talk crap about them, say they're trash or whatever. They are not trash. They are cool. They are good guns. Never had one fell on me, and I that's usually what I carry in the woods most of the time is, say, a Heritage Rough Rider. They're a good little tool to have. And when you have one, you can buy a holster from me. That's not why, though, for real. I had one before I ever did leather work. The first holster I ever made was for the Rough Rider, and which is funny, it being the first holster I made, and it ended up being the number one selling holster to this day that I make. Which I like. You know, a lot of people make want to make modern, like, tactical holsters and stuff, and even modern twists on revolver holsters. But man, I just love the old. I just love the traditional type of holsters. I love traditional leather work. It has a nice aesthetic. It just works. It doesn't need to be changed. Like it's worked since forever. I've carried since I turned 21 now. 28, I still don't have a 22 handgun or rifle. What? The 22, well, yeah. 22 long rifle is plentiful, but 22 mag is appealing. Yeah. And for the Rough Rider, you know, you can get the Magnum cylinders as well. Oh, thanks, Jay. Grace, thank you for me. Thanks, Grace. Grace, she's like our receptionist. She's like our assistant and our receptionist. Filter all calls through grit and grace. The holster you made me is awesome. Well, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it looks like I'm getting blown up with signal messages. I don't know who it is, but I'll check it here in a minute. After I finish the cigarette, I gotta go back in and get back to work. She is on it. Yeah, I know. Dude, last night thought so too. Whatever his name was. I don't know if he's a new subscriber of yours. He might be here right now. I don't know. But she gained her a super fan. You better watch it. Hopefully he ain't a creeper. Be trying to find you on the social medias. And I much prefer leather holster for OWB. Yeah, out waistband. I just tend to go for oddball handguns. I'm looking for a Glock 19 next or SW M&P 2.0. Just on the fence about it. Yeah. May I suggest? I don't know if I don't know your financial situation, but if you want to get something that's really affordable and really good, and I think Jay, Prepared Citizens here, can verify this as well, you should check out the Bear Creek Grizzly. It's a good gun. It's a good one. You can go to my channel, my other channel, Modern Frontiersman, and check out my review, and you can use my affiliate link there if you want and get you a discount on one. And they're already cheap, but they're, from what I hear, they're identical to the Glock. I've never actually owned a Glock, but they're good and they're accurate. Need to give her a raise, yeah. I have a Rough Rider laying around. I'll have to order a holster pretty soon. Yeah, absolutely. Head over and use my go to my website, and I'd love to make you one. I have lots of different kinds there. You know what? As a matter of fact, today, in celebration of everybody's support, and just because I'm feeling like it today, I'm gonna put a, what is that? Something going up the road here. I think it's a tractor. But I'm gonna do a 20% discount at modernfrontiersman.com today. 20% off today to anybody that orders anything. I'm gonna do that as soon as I get back in the house. I'm gonna create a store-wide discount. No discount code needed. Everybody gets 20% off because I'm cool and I love y'all and y'all are cool. So yeah, I'm gonna do that today only. 20% off at modernfrontiersman.com. As soon as I get back in the house, I'm gonna run that sale for today, and then I'm gonna post it all over social media. Yeah, man, no problem. I do discounts a lot. Some people say that that's bad business because then it lowers your the perceived value of your product if you're constantly discounting stuff. Whatever, I don't really care because there's people that show up and support all the time, and it's not going to kill me to lose a little bit of profit. I'm not going to lose out. I'm not going to lose money by doing it. I'm just not going to make as much profit off the item. So if it lowers the perceived value, I don't think that's even true, to be honest. Say it cheapens your product. It cheapens the perceived value and all that. Whatever. Like, I don't do a lot of discounts and stuff like that on my leather brand, like on Jazz Marie. I don't discount stuff because that's more of I try to keep that more of an exclusive brand. You know what I mean? Like, that's geared towards people who have lots of disposable income to spend. regular average everyday workers aren't, everyday people aren't dropping, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, aren't buying $1,000 purse unless they're irresponsible with their money. So my other brand, Jazz Marie, which I don't even really advertise it much, and it's because it's more of an exclusive deal. But I don't have a YouTube channel on it or anything. I don't run too many sales on that. But like I say, that's for people that have a lot of money to blow and a lot of money to spend. And I get very, very expensive leather for those items. Like I have a card wallet. I can't remember. I think the card wallet is like $200. It's just a little card wallet. But that leather is made with, or that those wallets are made with shell Cordovan leather, which is leather I get from Italy. I'll order it straight from the tannery when they have it. So that kind of adds more, even more to the exclusivity, is because sometimes you can't even get it. There's a waiting list to get the leather. It's made from the rump of a horse. So, and it's not even the hide is the interesting thing about shell Cordovan. It's not even this outside skin. On a horse's butt, on each side, on the top back, there's a little membrane right on, like a muscular like membrane right underneath the skin, and shell Cordovan leather is made from that. And get this, guys, shell Cordovan is, like, the last time I checked, it was $250 per square foot of leather. That's insane. So I get like a piece of, a square foot piece like this, and it cost me $250 plus the shipping from Italy. And that's the kind of stuff I use at Jazz Marie. So it's the most expensive leather in the world. It, like, legit, like, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. It is actually the world's most expensive leather. And that's the leather that I use for that brand. Which is funny because even these the leather brands that claim to be top notch, luxury leather. Well, I wouldn't say top notch. I'm talking more like Louis Vuitton, even Coach. People see these brands as luxury. Those are not really your top tier luxury brands. Those are lower. Those are poverty level luxury. Like when you get up to Hermes, as some people call it, but Hermes, even a little below that, Versace and Prada. There's a lot of brands that are a lot higher than Louis Vuitton, and when it comes to the and all that stuff, and even Gucci, when it comes to leather luxury. But those companies are not using stuff like shell Cordovan like I'm using for. They're not using the most luxurious and quality leather in the world either. They're a lot of times sometimes they're even using this crap genuine leather, and they slap their name on it, and then it makes it expensive-ish. It's not expensive compared to Hermes. Like, what's crazy about when it comes, I don't even know if anybody cares about luxury leather. If you don't, tell me to shut up. But I've done a lot of research into this because, believe it or not, even though you see me making a lot of the outdoor stuff and that fits my lifestyle more, I am very interested in the leather, in the luxury side of things. I'm interested in luxury items, not as a show of, to show off or anything like that, but companies that are truly leather luxury, or that are truly luxury items like Hermes, who are actually making everything by hand and who are actually using really good quality leather and products, and who are actually really paying close attention to the detail to make sure the customer really gets a very good quality product that is beautiful and that has the craftsman and the artisan aspect to it. Those are the brands, those luxury brands I really love. And Hermes is one of my favorite brands to look at. And the interesting thing about them when it comes to exclusivity, and kind of where I would love to be in their shoes in the future. It won't come probably till I'm old, because those brands like that are heritage brands. They've been around since the 1800s, and they've been just steadily producing quality products forever. And Hermé, they started out actually making equestrian gear, I think is the word, like, you know, making stuff for horses, and then they making bags and things like that, like saddle bags and all that kind of stuff. And then they transitioned into more of the luxury items later on. But brands like that are very interesting to me, that are truly trying to deliver that experience to the customer. And that's the thing too, is that leather companies like them, it's not just about showing off. It's not just about giving the customer something to show off. It's about providing the customer an experience of just, you know, that the craftsmanship and the smell, the feel of it. That's really, you know, what they target. And that's really what luxury customers are after, is an experience, more than just, it's not just about the item, it's about the experience. Lynchpin, Coyote 6, what's up, my man? But like I said, maybe none of y'all are interested in leather luxury and didn't care about anything I just said, but that's why I started a leather luxury brand. And while I do put detail and stuff into the I do put hard work and make these things really good quality to hold up. These items are made for heavy use. You know, stuff at Fortner's Frontier Leather, I make it rugged and I make it for the outdoorsman. And it's not to say I don't put detail into it. As you see, I etch that border out. I don't have to do all that stuff, but I want to make it a nice experience as well. But when it comes to Jazz Marie, when it comes to making the purses and the wallets and the luxury stuff, when it comes to that stuff, I slow down a lot, and I make sure that every stitch is perfect, and the feel of it feels good, and I pay more attention to all the aesthetics and the feel of it, and all that kind of stuff. Because like I said, that stuff is more about the luxury experience than it is about being rugged for outdoor use, if that makes any sense. Like I said, it's not to say that I don't put the effort and the care into Fortner's Frontier Leather. It's just, it's a different vibe, and it's a different customer. Leather will always be around if stuff goes bad. Yes, I did a video at Modern Frontiersman, I don't know, probably a year or more ago, saying that people should pick up a craft that they can do without modern technology. And I've made that argument before too. Is like, I could still be in business even after SHTF. If we get thrust back into an 1800s world, guess what? People probably won't see leather as fuddy anymore, right? Especially if people are having to, people might want to go back to riding horses, and they'll need their shoes repaired. And I can be able to make things no matter what. It doesn't matter how bad things got. I could still do leather work. Leather's been worked since the beginning of time. And I wrote an article. It's over at modernfrontiersman.com as well. You can see an article I wrote on it's about, I can't remember what I titled it, but I think it's the very first article I wrote on the website at modernfrontiersman.com. Once again, you can go read it. About sort of the relationship with people in leather throughout time, saying, and you talking about how people maybe would have not even survived if it weren't for leather, because leather has kept people warm in the form of hides and furs. Leather has protected people. People made armor and shields wrapped in leather. Leather armor was lightweight, but still offered protection from penetration. You know, you could use leather like this saddle skirting, and actually make armor out of it that could blunt the blow of a knife or a spear or an arrow or what have you. And then, you know, the invention of firearms, the holsters, and, you know, and then even today, even though people are not carrying guns and weapons and armor as much as they used to, belts, wallets, you know, even belts for machinery. were made, you know, like wrap these thick leather belts around wheels, and use leather belts used to be used for the belts on machines, for steam power and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know that. And then shoes and boots, saddles, you know, automotive stuff. Like leather has a ridiculous amount of uses, and it's been around as long as humans, and it's not going anywhere because it just continues to be useful in so many different ways. And that's the one thing I love about leather as well. Yeah, furniture. I mean, look, I mean, there's some sort of leather somewhere around you probably right now, whether it's in your house, in your, it may be fake leather, but they still tried to copy the real natural thing, right? So um, leather has tons and tons of uses, and I love leather, man. I love doing leather work because there's just so many things you can, there's so many different things you can do with it. And like I said, it's a it's a craft that I can do with no external inputs. If I had to, I could go out. Yeah, renewable resource, exactly. If I have hides in my shed right now that I've tanned. I just haven't made anything from them. I can tan my own hides. Now, ideally, what I would do is just like people did before is, and I imagine this will be the case in SHTF. You might have, if things go back to like the 1800s or 1700s, I would think eventually you would have dudes like long hunters and like frontiersmen who will go out and hunt for food for people to sell, and for hides and things like that. Ideally, I would want to, you know, hire somebody else to, uh, you know, go harvest those pelts and tan them and everything, and then bring them to me to do the leather work. You know, everybody specializes in something. Uh, but if I had to, I could go out and tan them and do all that myself. That's just a lot of added work, like days and months and weeks of added work. But the fact still remains that it's a renewable resource, and I could acquire the materials myself if I needed to. I've done it before, and I can do it if I needed to in the future. Even from farmers, like if there's people, you know, raising animals for their food, you can be like, hey, you know, when you kill an animal, don't throw that hide away. Bring it to me. Let me keep the hide, and I can make you something for free out of it as payment for, you know, for you giving me the leather. You know, taking that byproduct and turn it into a useful product. That's something people don't really think about and realize either, is that the leather industry is dependent upon the meat industry as well, because that's where a lot of the leather comes from, is from the byproduct from the meat industry, from the hide off those animals that are, I'll say, off of cows that are being slaughtered for meat for food. And then the hides get stacked and loaded into a truck and brought to the tannery. So, and that's the thing, that's a cool thing too, is like, I haven't got it in a while because it's so expensive, but I'll probably start getting it again. I used to get all my leather from a tannery called Wickett and Craig. They're in Pennsylvania, but it's America's oldest vegetable tannery. They still do everything. I think the tannery's been around since like the 1860s, and it's the oldest functioning tannery in America, and that's where I used to get all my leather from. And I need to start doing that again. I still get all their flyers and all their sales papers and stuff like that. I have an account with them, but I love dealing with them because their leather is so rich. It's infused with all these oils and stuff. And I used to use their traditional harness leather, which is a leather to be used for, you know, horse tack and stuff like that. But it's very rich and very, very supple, it's beautiful leather. And it's still all tanned, completely natural with, you know, what vegetable tanning is they'll take acorns and leaves and all this natural stuff and soak it all in a vat, cook it all up, and then just submerge the hides in it for long periods of time. And all the tannins in those nuts and leaves and natural substances leach out into the hide, and that's what tans the hide. And Wickett and Craig is one of the few tanneries left in America that still do traditional like veg tanning like that. A lot of companies now are doing more like chrome tan stuff. And some people are allergic to chromium. Like some people can't wear these genuine leather belts because these are chrome tanned. They're tanned with chemicals, chromium and stuff like that. When veg tan leather, which is what I use mostly unless it's for a bag or something like that, it's tanned with natural materials that just seep into the leather and preserve and tan that leather. We have sheep and goats. Are their hides good leather? Yes, goat hide is actually really good leather. Goat is actually the one of the strongest leathers that you can get. I want to say it has the highest, like, what's the word? I think it's called like tensile strength or something like that. Brain tan my deer hides. Yeah. I've brain tanned coyotes, and I've tanned skunk. I have a mink. I have 3 bobcats that I tanned and made a bobcat hat out of these bobcats that my uncle had killed. Raccoons. Sorry, I don't know what just happened there. Yeah, I've tanned raccoons. I've tanned all kind of stuff. Beaver. I really like beaver fur. I like beaver hides a lot. They're really soft. The fur is really nice. And people that don't know, actually back in the 1800s, early to mid 1800s, during the like the golden age of trapping and the fur trade, the golden era of the fur trade, which has really went off in ever since then. People don't really buy and use real furs anymore. And that's why a lot of the mountain men and the trappers just ended up moving back into cities or just staying out there on the frontier as guides and everything. But one of the biggest selling things was beaver hides. Everybody was trapping beaver because top hats were made from beaver hides, made from beaver fur. And during the 1700s, all the rage was the deer hides, especially back in London. It was like the latest fashion where, the long coats, like the colonial clothing would be made from deer hides. But later on into the 1800s, when the age of the mountain man, when we transitioned out from the long hunters and, who were really the forefathers of all the frontiersmen were the long hunters, and before and during and after the French and Indian War. After that, then come the mountain men who went further west, past Appalachia and on further into California and out west. Their thing was beaver, trapping those beaver hides for top hats. And people don't think about that either. These guys weren't out there just for fun. Like it was business. They were out there. They were out there trapping furs and working their asses off to sell those hides that would go back west and go back to England. So hopefully I've told you some things that you didn't know. Hopefully I've brought you value and educated you on something instead of just sitting here running my mouth. But yeah, I really enjoy the history of all that. Really interested in the history of the long hunters, and that's what kind of led to the name Modern Frontiersman. I was like, you know what? We need people today. Like the frontier is there's no more frontier anymore. However, I wanted to encourage people to get back to that mindset of the frontiersmen of the past. That's why I named Fortner's Frontier Leather. People who are still living that life like a frontiersman of the past, who still had that mindset of grit and getting out there and doing stuff and exploring, and that adventurous spirit and the entrepreneurial spirit and not worrying about what other people think, but doing what they know is right. I think that's what I see as the frontier now, is living outside of the box that everybody else lives in and continuing to be self-reliant and not being dependent on government and everything else, but to you know, to have that mindset. And you know, one of the definitions of frontier is uh, the outskirts of civilization or society. And I think that all of us kind of live that way, even if just metaphorically, not actually physically on actual land, on a physical frontier. Uh, but we all live and think outside of societal norms these days, and that's really what the meaning behind the name of this channel and Modern Frontiersman is living outside uh, of that box that everybody else lives in, of just believing whatever and not standing for anything, and not being independent. I've been enjoying your other channel for a bit. I was there when your live got nuked. Just wanted to say it does my heart good to watch you young guys doing the things. Miss Sharon, thank you so much. That means a lot. It means a lot to me when people say things like that they enjoy what we're doing or they've learned anything. And occasionally I'll get the one dude here and there, and I hope there's more of them, and I think there is, that just don't say anything or don't say so, that are moved or educated or, you know, motivated or whatever by just something I've said. Like that's the goal, is really to make people think and to motivate people to get out there and be self-reliant. I make a lot of leather long hunter bags and other stuff and sell it. It's good cowboy leather products. Awesome, man. I'll have to check it out if you have a website or something. You know, that's one thing too that's really cool, is that you don't see a whole lot of in leatherworking, at least not not from what I've noticed. You don't see button heads and competition like you do in other industries. Like, I don't see leather workers saying, "Don't buy so and so's stuff because it's garbage. My stuff is better." You know, like I don't see that in leatherwork, in leather workers, uh, and I think one reason for that could be too is that, or at least the way I look at it is, if I make this and say Cowboy Leather Products makes the same thing, chances are you're going to get the same quality product. To be honest, one dude might make something exactly the same as me, or I might make something exactly the same as he makes, and neither one of them be better than the other, but they're going to be slightly different, because you're going to get that person's individual touch, and you know, say little things like the edges. I might do this. Somebody else might do some sort of stamped and tooled border. Somebody might shape the loops differently. Somebody might use a different type of tannage on the leather or whatever. Mine are better than China. Yeah, I get you. That's not what I mean. I mean like dudes who are actually out, you know, hand making stuff and things like that. Chris, good morning, sir. Yeah, exactly. I think it's because most have their own style of doing things, kind of like women sewing. Yeah, exactly. The people have different styles. So there's another dude another friend of mine. He does leather work. Sometimes, depending on, so he makes stuff really more rough and a little bit more I don't know what the word is, more rustic like. But if somebody comes to him and says, "Hey, I want something like this, and I want a holster, I want a knife sheath, but I want it to be nicely finished and have a nice look to it and stuff like that," he'll sometimes send people to me instead of him doing it, and vice versa. If they're like, "Hey, I want something, but I want it kind of rough looking, I want it kind of unfinished, kind of rustic looking," I might want to send people. I'll send people to him. It's not that one is better than the other. Different people just put different finishing touches and have a different style of the way they shape things, the way they cut things. For some stuff, you know, like holsters like this, I'll go for a little bit more of a finished, polished look, like with the, oh, you know, like y'all saw yesterday, I burnished the edges and did all that. Sometimes I don't do that. Like, for example, this belt, while this belt is $100, it doesn't have those touches, but this is a very plain, simple, this is a very class, this is one of my luxury belts, but really the price is coming from the hardware and the type of leather it is. I cut the strap out and I put the hardware on, and I stamped the Jazz Marie emblem. But this belt is intentionally left with the edges unfinished and things like that, because then the edges are lighter. It just gives it a different look. It's not, it doesn't really, finishing those edges doesn't make it any better of a belt. It just gives it a different finish. So, you know, let's say this belt requires actually less work, but is more expensive. And like I say, it's because of the cost of materials, the leather luxury brand that's on it for that exclusivity factor. And then you have this leather work that's a bit cheaper as far as like the hourly rate and the cost of the leather, but it's more finished. This belt is actually no better quality. This belt, even though it's thinner and it's not as finished, this is actually better quality leather because the tannage is better. But like I say, somebody else could make this same exact belt, but do something different with it, have some sort of border or something like that. No better quality, no worse quality, just different style. And so that's why I don't think you really see leather workers hating on each other or trying to undermine or undercut each other, because everybody's got a different style, and different people want different looks and that specific style. I didn't realize I had a style, honestly, until one day the leather worker that I'm talking about, that I know personally, he lives around here. He doesn't really have a store, or he's not like public about it, but he does custom work for people that know about him and stuff like that. But he messaged me one day. He said, "Hey man," he said, "I just want to let you know, I've been doing leather work for a very long time." He's been doing leather work for longer than I have. He's been doing it since he was like in high school. He's like, "I just want you to know that I really like your style. You have a specific style of doing your leather work, and I think it's really cool. It's like he said, it's like in between the rugged and the luxury. It's like a rugged look and item, but with some, you know, with the clean cuts and the clean border and the classy look in a, you know, in a rugged item that's meant to be used." So I was like, "Hey, thanks, man. I didn't realize I had a style, but I appreciate you saying. I appreciate you letting me know." Chris, by the way, we're finished the Gunbelt, which you probably saw the pictures I posted in Signal. Finished it up last night. I'll tell you too, the 22 cartridge loops are kind of a pain because they're such small loops. They're little bitty loops. A lot of people won't even do 22 cartridge belts because they sometimes, and it may not last either, to be honest. Like, these loops might end up popping back through or through the back, or not really holding up because they're such small loops. That's why a lot of people won't even do 22 cartridge belts by hand. What's everybody else up to tonight, or this morning? Tonight, I'm so used to doing videos at night, I'm talking like it's nighttime. I'm taking the kids to see the Minecraft movie this afternoon. My son, he was supposed to have had a field trip today, but he got sent home sick. So I had to go pick him up just a little while ago, right before I went live. He's in the house, not feeling well, playing Minecraft right now. He probably fell asleep on the couch, but he's in there playing Minecraft. And then if he's feeling better, if he hasn't puked anymore, you know, between now and when my daughter gets out of school, we're going to take him to the theater and watch the Minecraft movie, which a lot of times I actually I don't mind him playing Minecraft because I don't like them doing too much stuff online, but I don't mind him playing Minecraft because I think it really helps his you know, critical thinking skills and stuff like that. Um, he's become more creative uh, since I showed him how to play Minecraft. I think Minecraft's a cool little game. Like I like playing Minecraft. I still play Minecraft. You know, every once in a while I'll get on there and I'll start me a world and I'll just like explore the world. I don't even care so much to build stuff. I like to just wander around the world. The way they made that game is cool. Like I just like to explore and look at the scenery in the game. I'll build me like a little cabin everywhere, ever so often. Working my life away. Oh man. Hey, work is good. Work is good for you. So I want to share, before I go, I want to share something with y'all that maybe is inspirational. And don't discount this or disregard it just because it's from an organization or place that you may not agree with, like when it comes like doctrinally and stuff like that. But as y'all know, I grew up in the Mormon church. Sometimes, every once in a while, even though I'm not a member of the church anymore, craft show on Saturday. That's awesome. I need to do craft shows. I haven't done many of them because I don't have anything pre-made. Everything's made to order. So I need to make up a bunch of stuff and go to craft shows. I need to do that. I think I could get a lot of sales and stuff. But yeah, absolutely, Jay. Minecraft is awesome. It makes kids think, and it's fun. It is. It's fun for adults. It's fun for kids. It's fun for everybody. I love it. And it's my daughter as well. It's let you know about the movie. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow when I get down there to you. But yeah, Minecraft is cool. It's cool for everybody. And my daughter has become more like wanting to actually like go out and explore in real life because of Minecraft as well. Which I think that's awesome. But before I go, I'm going to go here. I realize I've been over an hour. I actually meant to just hop on here and show y'all the work, but I ended up just talking for an hour. But I appreciate y'all joining. So as I was saying, hear me out. Don't discount this just because you may not agree with the Mormon church or whatever. Everybody has a, you know, some truth to give and something valuable, I believe. But even though I'm not a member of the church, actually, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to the church and asked to be excommunicated and stuff like that because there were things I just didn't agree with. Still, this day, don't have anything against the Mormon church. I think they do a lot of good in the world. They do a lot of charity stuff. They were one of the first organization on the ground after Hurricane Katrina. They dumped tons of money into aid and things like that. And the Mormon church is very well organized, very prepared and into preparedness and for its members and all that stuff. But every once in a while, I will still get on their YouTube channel and listen to, I'll listen to a talk that the president of the church gives just to see, because they always give some really good talks that really apply to everybody, whether you're Mormon or not. So I've trapped almost everything that walks, and so I really enjoyed your leather long hunter history overview. Thank you. I'm glad somebody learned something. But I listened to this talk. The last one I listened to was probably like a year ago. It tells you I just every once in a while I'll get on there and listen to one, and they're always good. But he was talking about, his talk was on work that Sunday, and he talks about how he said God created us and we're to work on this earth. We're to do work and do work for him, and work is good for the spirit. It's good for the soul. It's good for the body. And he said, he went on about the value of work and how we're co-creating in the world with our creator and stuff. And he said, he ended the talk. It was only like a 20-minute talk, but he ended it with, when you're happy, work. When you're motivated, work. When you're sad, work. When you're mad, work. When you're confused, work. When you're tired, work. He's like, and you know, and he went through all these things, just, you know, saying the solution to a lot of things is work. And I understood where he was going. That, you know, is like, his work is very good for people. It can help clear your mind. Like for me, I've talked about when I'm working on leather work. Jay, I didn't even know you were Mormon too. Have you told me that before? What? Anyway, this was, I really enjoyed that talk, and I really understood where he was coming from, because anytime that I've been down or anything, when I get outside or I just do work, you know, and I create something, and I use the skills that God gave me, and it really helps to, like I was saying the other day, when I'm doing my leather work, I just clear my mind. It's meditative. It's peaceful for me to just work alone and focus on the work I'm doing. It helps you be in the moment, if you look at work in the right way. Well, same. My mom's side as well too. Well, didn't know that. That's cool. I don't think you ever told me that. But I really enjoyed this talk, and it changed the way I looked at work too. There's a lot of people like, oh, I got to work today. But if you're doing, like Jay was talking about last night, if you feel like you're called to do something by God, then do it. If work is good for us, it's not. What is the alternative? To be lazy, to sit, no growth. Working helps you grow as a person. It helps your mind to grow. It helps your spirit to grow. It helps you. It can bring you peace, and you can bring your let's say you put your creative skills and everything that you were blessed with to work. What you said on the other channel about the food dyes, etc., was the most profound thing I've heard in a while. Miss Sharon, thank you. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised when I hear people agree with what I said on that. So I'm glad to hear that somebody agrees and understands that what I'm saying about that. Because I think that's a big problem, especially in not only in our society but everywhere in the world. Even when you look at other countries, and is that people want to put responsibilities and things off onto other people, which goes back to work as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't understand. Well, I do understand why, but it's just an observation that people will abandon their principles out of convenience. And that's what I see that as, is we shout freedom, 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 less government, less bureaucracy, less of these unelected officials making decisions for us and telling. Remember the whole thing, like with the whole the dude wouldn't make the cake for the gay couple. Like, companies should be able to do what they want. You know, the market will sort it out. You know, if people don't like that, then people will stop shopping there. But the moment it comes from their side, or from, you know, someone that they agree with or they have some sort of affinity for, they'll change their principles, or if it brings convenience, right? And like I said, I think most people don't actually even care or bother to read labels and things like that. And that's the thing too, is like, the ingredients are required to be on the labels, and it's not, you don't have to buy things from these companies. Okay, like, just, you want to be able to, you want to eat those things, you want that convenience of just buying things you don't have to cook, that have all these preservatives and all that stuff in it. But then you don't want the companies to be doing that, and you want government to step in because you've become unhealthy due to your own choices, and then you want government to step in and save you. It's like Randall from Grunt Proof shared a thing on his X the other day. Is this big, huge, giant, fat guy, probably like 600 pounds. I think it was AI generated, but it was funny. It was also had truth to it. Big old fat dude, and Randall put on there something to the effect of, "I couldn't stop drinking, cases of sugary drinks. Government needs to ban them." It's like people take zero responsibility for their own situation, and they want government to step in and fix it and save them. And that's not American value. That's not how we were supposed to be. That's not how we were. That's not how we were, the kind of principles we were founded upon. Yeah, I think it might have been Benjamin Franklin said something about that, to the effect of, only a self-reliant and educated and independent society can remain free. And we see how this things like this can lead to a society losing its freedoms, because we outsource our decisions, our health, on our everything to do with our lives as a whole, as a society, not us individually. That's why I say we're frontiersmen. We live outside of this society, on the fringes, on the borders of this society. We're part of the society, but we don't live in it. We're in it, but it doesn't define us. We're in the world, but not of it. And we're in the society, but not of this society. But as a whole, we've outsourced everything to bureaucracies. Like, we have all these bureaucratic agents and all these agencies and all these bureaucrats that we continue to say shouldn't exist, but now we cheer them on when they do something that we want them to do. It's like, well, I thought they shouldn't exist. I thought you wanted freedom. I thought you believed in the ability to make your own decisions. So what happened? So, in this case, but not in this case. In that case, but not in this case. I think we're kind of shaky on our principles sometimes. And that's not to hate on anybody that disagrees with me. You can think whatever you want. This is just my opinion. And to be honest, I think that opinion is founded in principle, in the principles that our founders and that our ancestors would have believed in as well. Not to run to government or other people to solve all of our problems for us, but allow people to solve their own problems. And if they don't, then they have to be free to suffer the consequences of their decisions. Otherwise, they're not free. And I know the argument has been made by friends in this community that, well, people are just too dumb to make good decisions. Well, then if we believe in freedom, those people should be free to suffer the consequences of being too dumb to make that decision. A guy once told me that I worked with, I had commented on something that was going on at the time, I was probably like 10 years ago. And it was something about public safety, or something about safety of an individual. Somebody had been arrested, or it had something to do with drugs, I think. And I said that they shouldn't have put the guy in, the dude shouldn't have been arrested. He wasn't hurting anybody. It was a raid, I think, of this like drug raid. And I was like, why did they were arrested for a victimless crime? They didn't directly harm anybody. And this guy said, well, sometimes we need to be protected from ourselves. And I sat there for a second, I was on break at lunch, and I looked at him, That's absolutely ridiculous. We need to be protected from ourselves. Like I've said before, if we raise kids and we never allow them to suffer the consequences of their actions, they never learn, right? And that's not to say government is a parent to us, because that's not what I mean either. I'm just saying, why do they say, why do signs say don't feed the bears, don't feed wild animals? Because they come dependent upon you feeding them, and then they can't feed themselves. So in my opinion, if Health and Human Services, the FDA, any of these organizations, if they're going to exist, which I would prefer to just abolish them all, every bureaucratic agency that is not all elected officials, I would abolish all of it. Every bit of it. The FDA, the FFA, all these alphabet soup agencies of unelected people, would abolish every single one of them, just about. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, all of them I would do away with. One, they don't make good decisions. They sometimes they stop things sometimes that would actually be good for people. And then they allow things that are not good for people. And then we turn around and want them to ban things and make more decisions, even though we know they don't make good decisions. But I would abolish all those organizations and put the responsibility back on the people. And if those organizations are to exist, then their only role be for public education. So like if dyes are bad for you, rather than putting the effort into banning things and all this kind of stuff, they put that effort into ad campaigns, into public education. Because like we said, only an educated and self-reliant and rugged people will keep their freedom. And then the government has to do a lot less. And, I want them to do less. People say, we have a do-nothing Congress. We have a do-nothing government. Wrong. We need a do-nothing government. I want the government to get their hands off of everything and stop doing stuff. They do too much. They're like somebody running around just trying to find something to do that doesn't even need to be done. Right? I'm all for just letting things work them. A lot of things you leave them alone and they'll work themselves out. Like I talked about the other day, the concept of Wu Wei, effortless action. Nobody has to force water to run down a hill and create a river. It takes the path of least resistance and it just flows and it finds its way and it naturally eventually makes it to the place it ends up. And in that process, it'll cut through rocks. It'll blast through anything. It'll solve its problems without anybody forcing it with a pump or whatever else. And likewise, I think that can be the same with society. And if government just stay out of stuff, educate people, and then let them make their own decisions. Like they could put out, hey, companies that are producing food with these dyes or with this chemical or that additive or this preservative, it's unhealthy. If you can continue to consume this product for a long period of time, it could lead to this, and that. And people we have the internet, we have all the information, that we could possibly have at our fingertips. But rather than use that to research things and to learn things and to be more educated, people seek entertainment and outsource that responsibility onto somebody else. But I think people need to be left to make their own decisions and suffer the consequences of them, good or bad. That's the only way we learn, and that's the only way we're free. And I got onto a rant about that again. But I appreciate you commenting on that. And that's my honest opinion. Like I said, I don't make videos at Modern Frontiersman for people to agree with me. I make videos on what I actually think. And I just want to speak the truth to the best of my ability, the best I understand it. And people can take it or leave it. But hey, everybody, thanks for joining today. I realize it's been like an hour and a half. Like I said, I only meant to be on here for like 30 minutes. But once I get going and y'all start talking and asking questions and making comments, I enjoy being here, and I enjoy talking to everybody. But yeah, once again, today I'm going to head over to the website right here in just a second, and I'm going to mark everything 20% off, and I'm going to post the link and all. And I hope y'all have a great day. Once again, here's the work that we finished over the last couple of days that y'all witnessed parts of, cartridge belt and the holster. But everybody is new here. If anybody, I see people coming in and out, a lot of people who probably aren't subscribed. You can head over to modernfrontiersman.com. Get yourself some leatherwork. There's the home of Modern Frontiersman and Fortner's Frontier Leather. So there's articles on preparedness, links to videos. There is the free downloadable PDF there for people who are new to preparedness, things that they can follow, things they should focus on to be more prepared. And say my leather work as well. We're going to mark everything 20% off right here in just a moment. And thanks once again for everybody joining. As always, you know what to do. Stay self-reliant.